Hi guys, welcome to the Think Loud Crew podcast. We are in a different place today because we could not get in the studio.
Life is lifing.
Life is always lifing, but God is good.
Amen.
And the three of us have not been together in a long time.
Actually, since you've been to Thailand.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I met you.
I don't know if we knew that song.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know the words. Just
I don't
kidding.
either.
It's okay.
It was an attempt though. But I guess we can talk about.
Will you tell us about Thailand?
I would love to know about Thailand, how that experience was. I want to know if you had the same energy going into the Mexico trip, going into the Thailand trip, and if any of those...
If your fears from
the Mexico trip trickle down to the Thailand trip.
Okay, so let's talk about the Thailand trip. So for anyone who doesn't know, I went to Thailand with my dad for the Unfiltered Kitchen podcast. We did it as a food trip, so everything was literally based around food and eating. And
how was that? Sorry.
It was a lot of eating. I'm not going to lie. So it was an 8-day trip through TrovaTrip. And what I realized after like day 3, I was like, I'm tired of eating. Like everything was, okay, let's get up. We're going to go eat. And then we do this food thing. And then it's like we take a break and then we go back and do another food thing. I don't think that I genuinely thought about the itinerary from the standpoint of like, what if I'm not fucking hungry? Yeah.
So what if I don't want to eat?
Yeah. And also
together
it was
multiple times a day?
always Thai food. We're in Thailand. So it's like, bitch, don't complain. But it was like, after like 4 days of Thai food, I'm like, oh my God, I'm passing like other places that have like Indian food or just like other things that I'm like wow, like
try that.
Yeah, can we try something else? It was just a lot of food. And it was a lot of visiting like local markets where the tour guide is local. They'd walk us through these markets, but then he would literally be like, don't eat anything. Like, don't eat anything because sanitation is different. And because he was like, even if it's fried, they don't fry their food enough to where the inside will be cooked. So he's like, that's how people get like sick or Thai stomach or whatever they called it, something out there.
Oh, wow.
So
did anyone on the trip get sick?
Yes.
I know you got sick. I know Dad got sick.
Multiple people got sick.
I know everyone got sick.
I know y'all got
Multiple
sick.
people got sick, got food poisoning. And I felt like it was still like we were all very careful about like what we ate and stuff. But still, I think it was just inevitable to happen, to be honest, with the amount of intake of food that we were doing. Even my dad, and everyone knows, like, my dad and I like to eat. Even he was like, I don't want to put another thing in my mouth. Like, I'm so fucking
So how many
full.
times, like, so you guys ate literally
all
breakfast,
day,
lunch, and dinner?
Yes, and snacks in between.
Did you guys have to do long drives? Like, what cities were you in?
Oh wait, so we started in Bangkok, which is more of like city atmosphere. So think like New York type vibe, skyscrapers, big buildings, like very city-ish. So to get to like local areas, those would be drives, or they'd have night markets. Like they're very well known for their night markets. It was a fun experience to be able to see these things. This is something very different than like what I have around me in my area, you know? But, you know, to me, honestly, like you see one night market, you've seen them all. Like I don't need to
keep going to them.
Yeah, I didn't. But what I realized was that the group of people that were on the trip, so backstory. TrovaTrip is a place where, not a place. TrovaTrip is a website where you can sign up to be a host, and then you can host these trips, and then other people can sign up, pay to go on this trip as well. That is what we did for our Think Loud Crew Women's Retreat. Right, that was Mexico.
Yeah, so it's Mexico.
So this is the same idea. So I don't know any of these people. They don't know me personally. They know me through the podcast or through the show or whatever. And they don't know my dad. Like same situation. So it was a group of strangers. There was 15 of us. And everyone was different ages, different racial backgrounds, different socio backgrounds. Just different, came from different places. I mean, we had people from Louisiana, we had people from Canada, people from Atlanta, people from DC.
Wow.
It was a mixed group.
How many people came on this trip compared to
14.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was mixed ages. So because my dad was hosting the trip along with myself, we also got an older crowd because they felt more comfortable coming on that trip than coming on our trip because they were like, "Oh, your dad's going." So like that's like that's more my vibe. So but within that there was a lot of personalities. Like a lot of personalities. A lot of personalities.
She can't.
Yes. So I realized
a lot.
Yeah. Because I felt like for our trip, we were all around the same generation.
Yes. And then same type of...
We had the commonality of like most of us being moms.
Yes.
Thinking about motherhood.
Yeah. This trip, it was like you had like the young crowd and then an older crowd and then like people in between who would kind of hop from back and forth who were like, I'm not as old as them, but I'm not as young as y'all. So I think that with the different generations and personality backgrounds, it just... Sometimes it wasn't the best mix. Sometimes it worked out well. Right. But then in other settings, it didn't. Like, if that's just me being honest, like, it just didn't work. Yeah.
Was it, when you say it didn't click, it was just like too many chefs in the kitchen type vibe? Or was it just like maybe not everyone wanted to walk as much or...
Yeah, I think that it was more of like personality differences. And some people being more willing to try things than others, or some people wanting to do like if you have a type A personality and you see this itinerary, right? And it's breakfast at this time, activity at this time, lunch at this time, activity at this time, and then dinner at this time. A type A person is following that to the T, right? Yes. Somebody who's more relaxed and go with the flow is more of like, okay, well, I didn't make it to breakfast, but I'm going to make it to the second activity. Right. Yes. And then maybe we see that the third activity is a temple, but we already saw a temple that morning. You see one temple, you see it on the fucking temples, okay? So it's like some people would be like, I don't need to go and see another temple. Like I just saw a temple this morning.
Oh, so not everyone did all the activities.
Yes.
Which is very different from Mexico because we did
everything together. But what TrovaTrip...
It was sorry, go.
No. But what I was going to say was just like from our experience from our trip and going into it, you don't have to do all activities. It's okay to sit out. And with being a host, what we were told is that it's okay to take it as a vacation on yourself.
So that is where the misunderstanding happened.
With the group of people? Yes.
I think the idea of me saying, you know, I have a headache. I'm not going to go do this activity, but I'll see you guys at the next one. Or even let's take a headache out of it. I don't want to go do that activity. Right. I'm tired. Like I need to just chill and take a break.
Because you're on the whole time.
Yes, you're on the whole time. And I think that is where some people were getting upset. Mm-hmm. I don't know if upset is the right word, but maybe disappointed. But I would say when you have like a person or a group of people that are very type A and to the book and want to follow verbatim, you know, it said 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're going to do it.
In the lobby.
But I'm more of a person who's like, let's go with the flow. I'm down for the itinerary. But like, if it's something that I don't personally want to do, then I'll still go with the flow and do it. But it's like, if we just did that, like, why do we have to do that again? You know? So, and I think that because TrovaTrip frames it to the host as of like, it's also a vacation for you. Like we pay to go also. You know what I mean? Like we're spending money to be there as well. I think that is where the disconnect was happening because it was a lot of pressure on me to be at everything, to do everything, and to be on the whole time.
How was Dad? Was Dad in the same boat, or was he just like, F it, I'm old and
Dad was... I'm going to say Dad was good in Bangkok, but even there was some stuff in Bangkok where he was like, like, okay, for example, there was one day we had a full day, like full on day, right? And then the ending of the itinerary was like to go to eat, and then we went and saw like a temple, a night temple, and then the last thing was to go to a bar. So when we went to see the night temple, it started raining, and it wasn't like baby rain, it was like pouring rain. So now we're outside at this night temple, and now we're soaking wet. Now the next night, and it's cold, it was cold at night, it got cold. So now I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm literally getting sick because I'm soaking wet. My hair was out in braids, and all the braids were wet. Zach had a hoodie on, but he was soaking wet, and I saw the color change on his hoodie because like that's how wet we were.
Oh shit.
So the next event was to go to a bar. So I asked the tour guide, I said, is the bar outdoors or indoors? Because if it's outside, I feel like I'm gonna get
home.
sick.
Yeah.
Like it's
Go back to
freezing,
the
I'm
hotel.
cold. Like
I'm
I'm
point.
uncomfortable. Like let's not, like me personally, I don't like that feeling. So he was like, no, it's gonna be outside. And I'm like, oh my God. So I let the group know. So majority of the group were like, we're wet. Like we don't need to go to an outside bar. We're gonna just go back to the hotel, maybe go to the lobby.
My kind of people.
Right.
Get
Smart.
some drinks.
We could do it in a nice, warm way.
But there was another side of the group who was like, no, I want to go. That's what the itinerary says. Now, because I had already felt some like animosity or energy from people, I felt like, fuck it, I'm just going to have to go with the itinerary because I was almost tired of hearing people complain to me.
Yeah.
So
was it that people were complaining because they wanted time with you specifically, or they just wanted the group to
be together?
I think
And
it was,
follow.
I think that it was a mixture of both, but ultimately I think it was more so of like, I came to do this experience with you.
So do it with us.
with me. But I'm like, I'm soaking and it's freezing outside. I don't want to go to an outdoor bar. I would much rather go back to my hotel, change, and then meet you guys in the lobby, and I'll buy your drinks. Like, like I would like propose like a different version of what the same thing was ultimately. But I think that at that night, I was already so overwhelmed with hearing people's like frustrations or like just, it was overwhelming for me, honestly. I just felt like everyone would come to me with, well, so-and-so said this or so-and-so said this, and this is how I feel. And I think it was just like a lot of pressure. So I was like, I'm going to the bar. Like, I'm going to go with the group who wants to do the bar because that's what the itinerary says. And I was just overhearing people like, bitch.
Yeah.
So
did Zach go with you as well?
Yeah, so he went with me, but then his nose literally started running at the table, and he's like, Chey, this is ridiculous. Like, we're getting sick trying to accommodate and make other people happy, but like, what about ourselves? So we kind of got into an argument between the two of us because he was getting frustrated with me kind of feeling all this like pressure.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're also on vacation, and it has not felt like a vacation.
Also, you were dealing with like wisdom teeth, like
oh yeah, my mouth couldn't even fucking open. I couldn't even open my mouth.
I saw Shanan right before she took her flight, and I was like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" And she was like eating like
my jaw locked.
Her mouth was not open.
Oh, my jaw locked. I was on amoxicillin and I was on 2 antibiotics and painkillers the whole trip. So I was also just very uncomfortable within myself. But we were on the way to the bar, and one of the girls said, so are you going to the bar with us because you want to go to the bar with us, or are you going to the bar with us because the itinerary says you have to go to the bar? And I was like, it's like, it was like those type of questions where it's like, that just makes me uncomfortable.
Like, you really want to know the truth, or do you want me to lie?
Thinking, I'm soaking wet, it's freezing outside, I'm going to the bar simply because the itinerary says it, and I don't want you guys to be mad at me anymore.
Or like feel like I'm neglecting.
You know what?
It was a lot of this trip was a lot of pressure.
So it was the pressure that you were scared of before.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the things that she was fearful about Mexico kind of manifested in this trip.
I'm sorry.
And then my dad got sick in Chiang Mai. So what? Oh my God. This was another situation.
How long time?
So this was another thing.
Like 8 days.
This is another thing that happened.
What were the accommodations like?
Prior to the trip, I went through Itinerary. I saw the things that I was like excited for. And I saw the things that I also was like, I just that's not for me.
Right.
And the way that TrovaTrip frames it to the host is do what you want to do.
Right.
Yes.
Like you don't have,
You don't have to do everything. You're also on vacation. You also paid for your flights
and
to
you can
get
go
there.
elsewhere.
Like, you can still have time for yourself.
And they emphasize if someone has an issue, they don't need to take it up with you as the host. Reach out to TrovaTrip.
Did anybody
Like-
reach out to TrovaTrip?
Yes.
Okay.
Multiple people
Not
did.
that. Yes.
Multiple people did, okay? So the big issue that happened was on the itinerary, it said we were going to take a sleeper train from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. Now, when I went through itinerary, this was like 2 to 3 weeks prior to the trip. I read that the sleeper train takes 13 hours,
Oof.
right? And I was
No.
thinking, but they're so close to each other. So me being me, I went and looked
They're so
online
close.
and I saw that a flight from Bangkok to Chiang Mai was 45 minutes and it cost $36.
No way. I'm
Sign me up.
taking 5 of those trips.
So,
Book me a round trip ticket.
so at the same time that happened,
Wait,
it was
13 hours on the sleeper train
yes.
compared to 45 minutes and a $36. Sorry.
Yes.
And sleeper trains and trains in general vary and look different country to
That's
country.
what I was going to ask. Because, I mean, like.
So that was the next thing I did.
I learned that the
I
hard
looked
way.
up the train. So at the time, I looked up the train, and this is when they send you the finalized itinerary. The train said number 13, which is the worst one. Sorry to anybody that's offended by that. It's
There's
the
levels.
worst
There's
train,
different
okay?
Why would they choose that?
Because TrovaTrip fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I'm mad at them too. So they chose the roast train.
Here we have it.
I went
You
back
heard it
in
here.
emails to our trip person who was assigned to do our trip, right? And I literally said, if I'm getting on the train, it needs to be the number 9 train. I
Right.
did my research.
So you were trying to vouch for the whole.
Yeah, I said we need to be on the number 9. The 13 is the worst one. It's the oldest one. It literally looks like you're in jail, like on a train. Like
That's
it just
horrible.
looks dirty. It had the worst reviews, all this stuff. So I was saying like we need to be on number 9. So then they wrote back and they said number 9 sells out a year in advance,
Oh, wow.
basically. But I'm like, then that should have been
Then
discussed
you should have asked us
prior to, right?
Or-
And the difference of money for TrovaTrip was a train ticket was $9, a plane ticket was $36. So I'm like, it wasn't some huge jump of like a plane ticket being $1,000 or something,
Right.
or $100 at that.
That's
could-
when
they
you
could have
give the
been-
option.
You should have given the option. So when I read that, I went to the group. So we had a group chat prior to the trip. I went to the
Oh,
group
okay.
and I said, hey guys, I'm not getting on the train. I'm not.
I'm not
I'm
doing
not getting
it.
on the train. And what's crazy is LaShonda came on our trip.
Yes.
Love
We
you.
Came to Mexico.
Love
Yes.
her. We clicked in Mexico. She's stayed at my house. Okay. Like
Yes.
that is my friend in real life, a real life friend now. So she came to Thailand with her guy. She texted me when the itinerary came out also, and she said, Shy, I'm not trying to be that person, but I'm not getting on that train. And I said, oh my God, that's so crazy. I'm literally looking at it thinking
Right.
I'm not doing the train either. Like, but I said, I'm just going to tell the group to give the option and tell them, hey, a plane ticket's only $30 and it's a 45-minute flight. Or if you want to do the train for the experience, go for it. Like, I'm not going to stop anyone, but this is what I'm personally going to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And of course, that's not a cost that's into TrovaTrip, but it was like, if anyone has any problems, let me know. And I would have bought the plane ticket for whoever.
Right, like let me
It's
help
$30
you.
fucking dollars. Like, I was like, no, I'm not. This is what I'm doing. And then someone in the group had wrote like, oh, well, what are you going to do in that day? You know what I mean? And I said,
Right.
honestly, like, I don't know the next time I'm going to go to Bangkok. So I found some things that I wanted to do, like some restaurants that I wanted to go to, some
Mhm.
experiences that I want to do. And I said, I wanted to go to these and I want to film some TikToks. Like, I was very open
Right.
with
Wait,
what
did
my,
you make TikToks out there?
I did.
I gotta
How-
see them.
But I was like, I was,
how cute.
I was
wanna
very-
see them.
I
Yes,
felt
TikTok.
like I was very open with my personal
Communication.
communication and itinerary of like, this is why I'm not getting on the train. This is what I'm going to do instead.
Right.
This is how much it costs. So a few people from there were like, okay, I'm going to just weigh out my options. A few people were like, I want to do the train for the experience. I'm not stopping anybody. I'm not saying that you have to come with me, and I'm not saying that I have to go with you. I'm just letting you know weeks in advance this is what I'm doing.
But so they're kind of cutting, if they did do the train option, that's cutting their time.
No, that's what was in the itinerary. So
that's
that
what
TrovaTrip.
Oh, so that was their whole.
Yes. But with the flight, it's like it opens.
Then you had
Cheyenne's
time. Okay, that's why you had.
It opened at my day. I'm like, I don't want to. And I talked to my dad about it. I'm like, I don't want to spend 13 hours on a train. I'd rather just be able to have my day, go an hour, and then start my next day.
Right. We had issues in Mexico where we had to communicate with the girls. There was a hurricane, so literally the week of our trip, it was chaos, and we got moved to a whole new location. Then we found out like some of the rooms had AC, some of the rooms didn't have AC. But we
talked about that.
Everything.
Communication is always key.
And like people updated, and some people
didn't.
But there was
no gray area.
Yeah.
So this is where the gray area started. The night before the train happened, we all went to a really nice dinner. It was great. Our guide explained it more in depth. And this is where my issue with TrovaTrip came. Once he explained it more in depth, I was like, that's not what the itinerary says. So
more in depth what?
Of how the day is going to run.
Oh, okay.
So he was saying that the group of people that are going to stay in Bangkok the extra day, because what I planned to do was to stay in Bangkok, exit out of our TrovaTrip hotel, go to a different hotel that I wanted to do a room tour in. So I researched a specific hotel I wanted to go to, and he was like, so the people who are staying in Bangkok are not going to do the tour that next day. You get what I mean? Yeah. Because then I found out that there was a ruins tour. The ruins tour was a 2-hour car ride to a different city. You were going to take the train from that city. Right. So originally I was thinking, we'll check out, go do the tour, and then come back to our hotel. They'll go do the train. He was like, no, it doesn't make sense because we're going to take the vans to the ruins and we're going to catch the train from there. So he's like, if you're not going to do the train, you shouldn't come on that tour. And honestly, it was another temple. So I was like, all right, bet. Like,
already seen it. Bet. Been there, done that.
Zach said, I haven't seen the ruins. I Googled a picture. I said, you seen it now. And then he was like, seen it, bet. I'm with her.
I'm dead. Right. You said, here it is, Zach.
Here it is.
This is also Cheyenne's like third time to Thailand.
Sorry.
So it's...
So,
I'm cracking
so when he explained that he explained that if you stay behind, you're not going to do the ruins because we're leaving from there for the train.
Yes. Okay.
And then the next thing he said was, after we do the ruins, we're going to go back to a hostel for a couple hours.
Sorry for anybody who does hostels.
And then we'll get on the train. Now, when I heard hostel, my ears, you know when you get like that warm feeling in your ears? Yeah. That's what I got.
I start to itch.
I was like, okay, that's really not for me. Like I knew that the train wasn't for me, but now I really know that that's not for me. Hostel? And that was never on the itinerary. Why are we going to a hostel? So then another couple there, they heard hostel. They were an older couple. I love them. They were great. And they were like, we're going to stay back. Like, we're going to go. They said, Chey, whatever hotel you book, let me know. I'm going to go with you. And I was very honest. I said, I'm going to be honest. The hotel I book is you can get rooms in Bangkok for $20. You can get rooms in Bangkok for $100. I picked one that was more expensive. So I was like, I'm going to be honest. This is on the 5-star hotel side of Bangkok. I'm going to send everybody the link. If you want to come with me, you can come. If not, the hotel that we were at said you can extend an extra day.
Yes.
So multiple options, okay?
Right. You have things to choose from.
So then that night, I start getting messages from some of the guests. Can I stay back? Yes.
Of course.
I've never said no one can come, no one can't come with me. I just made it clear, this is what I'm doing. You are welcome to come, but you're also welcome to go do you. Like, when is the next time anyone is going to be there? Maybe there was something that you wanted to go do. This is your opportunity to do that.
Experience thing.
Right. And it was just one day out of the 8 days that everyone would kind of like do themselves. So Another couple decided they were going to stay back. And then another individual, she came up to me. She was like, look, I don't want to do the train. I don't want to go to a hostel. Can I stay back? And I kept on saying, guys, you do not have to ask me.
Right.
To stay back. Just do it.
It's crazy how some people just don't have like that sense of autonomy to like make
and it is also like how Chey said, everyone was by the book. So like does kind of make sense that like, hey, like I'm not going by the itinerary, so I'm checking in with you to make sure that's okay.
So long story short, because it's now turned into a long story, but you guys got to hear this fucking train story. The group that stayed back, we checked out of our hotel that next morning. We went and had breakfast together. And then
where you want to eat,
where we wanted to eat, because now we were excited because now we have a day. You know what I mean? We have a day, and we've been ripping and running, so now we had a day to kind of like relax. So at breakfast, one of them said, "Well, what's your plan today?" I said, "Look, do not have a plan. I don't want to have a plan today. I want to just relax, do me. Mm-hmm. I want to film some stuff. I want to go check out some areas. I want to eat at the specific restaurant that I found." And they were like, "Love that you don't have an itinerary today, because every day we've been on this strict itinerary." So we checked out of the hotel. A group of us went to a mall that we wanted to go shopping at. Another group went to the new hotel, and they said, "We don't want to hang out with you guys for the day. We're going to go do us." I was like, bet.
You're like, love that for you.
Love that.
See you later.
And they said, "We might meet you at the pool. We might meet you at dinner." Cool. No pressure.
Right.
No pressure.
You don't have to
on
see
vacation.
My face.
Yeah.
So then another group went to do the ruins, and then it was all hell broke loose. Okay. So I think
when they went to the ruins.
Yes. I think what was hard was that the group who did the ruins versus the group who stayed back did not have a good experience. So the group of us who stayed back had a great day. I'm not even gonna lie.
Sounds like I'm picturing it in my head. I
want to know, where did you stay?
We stayed at the Waldorf, and it has this amazing rooftop. You can see the city. It has like a waterfall pool. We went to a nice ass dinner. We went to the nice mall. Like, we did what we wanted to do, and I had a great day. A couple went and got massages. Another couple went to a different mall and had a great day, and they were like, great day, great hotel choice, loved it. Right. On the other side, I'm getting my message is blown up because this is what happened to the group that went to do the ruins. They went into the ruins. They were fine. After the ruins, they went to the hostel. The hostel was not explained well at all. And this is TrovaTrip fault. They should have explained the hostel situation way better. Basically what it was an open room with some chairs. And
what?
They said, "Oh, you'd be there for a couple hours." It turned into being there for 7 hours.
No way.
Yes. So now I'm like, what the hell? So I'm getting kind of beat up in messages.
Have you ever been to a hostel?
No.
Have you ever been to a hostel?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen
when I went to a hostel, it was like bunk beds in a room. You go to a shower that's like a community shower and stuff. But this was just a room, no beds. You can go up to
like
shower.
A hostel room.
That's what I'm thinking.
It was just a space to hang out. So that was the first problem. And the lack of communication from TrovaTrip to the guest was not good. Yeah. So now the girls were upset because they're like, we've been stuck in this hostel for hours, no communication. And then of course we've all exchanged information now. So now they're looking at my snaps, the other people that I'm with snaps. We're on a fucking rooftop living it up.
In the pool.
Having great
a great day. And they're stuck in
shopping.
I'm not laughing, but
they're in this hostel, and I'm feeling so bad. So I'm getting all these messages. I start crying, because I'm just getting attacked in messages. So I start crying. LaShonda sees me, and she's just like, "I'm so sorry. You didn't do anything wrong, but this is also a TrovaTrip problem." So I'm calling TrovaTrip. Now it's 2 different time zones because the person who's helping me with our trip is on this time zone.
Right.
So it's no communication. I'm talking to the local guide, and he was like, "Look, I can only control what I can control. The train time got pushed back. What do you want me to do?" So I'm like, there's nothing I could do. There's something he could do.
Oh, the train time got pushed back.
Yes. And he was getting beat up from the girls that were with him.
Oh.
So I said, "Where did you go?" He said, "I had to go take a walk because it got really nasty." Like the exchange got really nasty. If you guys ever go to Thailand, Thai people are so
gentle,
fucking nice,
calm,
so nice.
He was like, love children,
and he was in a group of high-strung energy because they were all irritated and annoyed. Granted, I would have been irritated and annoyed also, but I think that they had to realize that there was nothing he could have done. Right. And I think that for them, they felt like he could have communicated better, which he could have, but at the same time, there was nothing he could have done.
Right, so he can't make
the train do anything.
It was out of his control.
Okay, it gets worse. They get on the train.
It was the head roll.
Right.
And then they're sending me videos from the train talking about how the train looked.
You warned them.
All this stuff. I'm like, if everyone looked at the itinerary, you would have known what you were getting into.
13 looked like.
So that was the next problem. I'm like, you guys, I'm going to email TrovaTrip again. So I emailed TrovaTrip. They're emailing TrovaTrip, but you're not going to get a response today because the time difference. And you're already on the train.
There's nothing you can do.
So one of the ladies who I appreciated, she was messaging me and she's like, look, I just keep replaying what your dad says in my head. It's not a problem unless you make it a problem. And that's what I'm going off of. Like, I'm feeling that vibe. And, but she's like, not everyone has that same approach and they're being really nasty towards the guide.
So people were just being nasty
and it was just not really working and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. So I was just praying the whole time, like, just get them here. Get them there.
Get them to where they need to be. Yeah.
Y'all, the train broke down.
No, it did not.
The train fucking broke down. Okay, the train broke down.
While they were on it?
Yes, I get messages that the train hasn't moved for 3 hours. I'm like,
I didn't know all this.
For 3 hours?
This is a nightmare.
I was I literally was like, you gotta be kidding. Like, you gotta be kidding.
Shanan and I's eyes.
I'm like, oh my God. And then of course the guide is texting me like they're freaking out. The train is stopped. It's broke down. There's nothing I can do. This never happened before.
Train 13.
And the train broke down. So then finally the train starts moving. At this point, we're all about to get on our flight. This is the next day for us now. We're about to get on our flight, and I timed it so that our flight got us to the hotel at the same time that the train would have got them. Yeah. So it's like, now we're all back together, woo! But no. So
sorry, I'm not laughing.
So then by this time, we've now checked into our new hotel, and I'm just like, where are the train people?
How much?
The train broke down again.
For how long this time?
Like another 2.5 hours. So then they were like, I was like, okay, what if, because now you guys are closer, what if you get off at the next station and then get a van, like they call it grabs out there.
So that 13-hour train ride was like a 20-hour train ride.
When they could have been enjoying.
It was a shit show. It was a literal shit show. And I have books from people. Like, I could scroll like this of
that's
like
horrible because it's not on you.
I could not control the train. The host could not control the train. Fuck it. TrovaTrip honestly couldn't have controlled the train at that point either.
That's just
so it was really, really bad. So by the time they all got there, I said, okay, when you guys get here, let's meet in the lobby to talk, because I was so overwhelmed with the verbal communication. And
it's a lot to handle.
It was just a lot. And then I met them in the lobby, and individually we had conversations. Some of them were like, you were very honest with us about what your plan was. And I'm still like, I had somebody tell me like, I'm still mad at you. But I can't be mad at you because you told us what you were going to do, but I'm mad at you and I don't know where to place that. And I was like, honestly, I don't know where to place that either. Like, it was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So then I met with our local guide, and our local guide was like, Chey, I love you. I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to continue on the trip with you. You guys, by the end of the trip, we went through 4 guides. Mexico, we went through 1.
Wait, Chey, I didn't.
You guys went through 4 guides in 8 days?
Yes. The guide was like, basically, he said that at the hostel, there was cameras and there's audio, and the owner of the hostel sent him the audio, and the train group was talking so bad about him that he said that his energy, it wasn't good energy for him, and that he needed to go and fucking pray.
You know
he started crying.
Oh,
he started crying.
That makes me
I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God.
It's like they didn't even understand the culture there. Like,
I felt so bad.
What you said.
That's
like, Thai
wild.
culture is very like.
He said, "My piece is not
he
a
said
piece."
that his piece was like it wasn't good. So I felt so bad. He was literally crying. I just felt so bad. And he's like, I did my best. Like, I get they wanted more, but like I did my best. They wanted more communication, but I had nothing to communicate. Like there was nothing that I could have done. And I felt bad. So the next thing after the train, thank God, was a spa experience because everybody needed to go and get their fucking backs rubbed after that situation. And there were some people who had paid for do the spa experience, and they were like, honestly, I'm not going because like I just had such a bad experience with like this group of people. Now I need to like go and like be by myself. I was like, all too like fine. And then I had some people who didn't come to dinner that night, and it was just like it was really, really messy.
Had to recover.
Yeah, but I felt like the sidebar conversations is what got my anxiety to a whole nother place. Someone told LaShonda that she shouldn't have been able to come on this trip.
What?
Because she already got to experience like a trip with me, and like she takes away from their trip.
That's not fair. How?
So LaShonda didn't go to dinner that night. Like it was uncomfortable.
Damn.
The sidebars were uncomfortable, but as a group, when we're together, it was like everybody was happy and stuff. But the sidebars were very, very uncomfortable for me. And that's me being honest. Did I have a good trip? Yes. Do I feel like I did.
Look at me.
I did, but there was just moments of like really, really like being uncomfortable and being like, what the fuck? But I had a good trip because I still made myself have a good trip. Yeah. But I just felt like the personality differences, background differences. This time it just did not. We got back from our Mexico trip and was like, that was the best trip ever. I got back from this one and I was like, I need to go in
another trip.
Detox. Like,
yeah, the week after Cheyenne got back, it was a rough week.
Wow. Did I meet cool people? Yes. Are there people from the trip that I would stay connected to that I still have to stay connected to? Yes. Am I talking bad about anyone on the trip? No. I just think that as a whole,
as a group, it didn't work out.
It wasn't.
And I think that because of the train situation, I think that really put a damper, because then from that point, it was almost like people were like mad at the group who stayed back. And
were they mad because they had a better experience in them, and they felt like you needed to you didn't go on the trip.
I just felt like I was overcompensating a lot because TrovaTrip dropped the ball in a lot of places. So I was just overcompensating a lot. Like we would go to the bar, I'll buy everybody's drinks. We went to a coffee shop, I'll buy everybody's breakfast or coffee. Like,
so you felt you had to
I felt like I just kept on like trying to give, and the only way I could do that was like by paying for stuff.
Did anybody give back to you guys, or like to you?
What
like,
do you mean?
Like, hey, I'll help. I'll help. I got you. Like, Chey, it looks like you're having a bad day. I'll take over. Like, let me help you.
LaShonda.
I was about to say besides LaShonda.
I would say no. And then in Chiang Mai, when all that stuff happened, my dad got sick, so he didn't leave his room for like the next 3 days. So I had to deal with
it was all on you,
all of that pressure, and then all of like the anger and stuff by myself. And I just felt really like bad, and I felt really uncomfortable, and I almost
did that affect you and Zach?
Felt like Zach was very upset because he felt like people were kind of treating me more of like a prop than a person, and kind of attacking me for things that I couldn't control. I didn't set the itinerary. Like, I didn't do these things. And he's like, they keep coming at you. And I would literally be in the room crying. There was one time I was in the hallway crying, and LaShonda found me, and she was like, what in the fuck is going on? Yeah. I'm like, I just keep getting like messages, and I just keep feeling like it's on me, and these people are going to think like I did it, or like I'm a bad person or something. And I just felt like I couldn't get out of that space.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like people had different expectations of what they wanted from you, where it's like no matter how great the trip was or what happened, like it doesn't seem like they were going to be happy or satisfied.
It was just a lot of like energy. And the energy was just like different. It wasn't bad. Energy. It was just different. It was just very, very different energy and very like, I don't know, like middle schoolish. Like if we got in a van and then we get to the next stop and then we get out or wherever we go back, people would be like, go to your same van and stuff. Like it was just very like, I don't know. It was a lot.
That sounds like a lot.
Why are you only sitting with them, Cheyenne?
It was a lot. It was a lot. I felt like a lot of my anxiety that I had going into the first trip that we did with TrovaTrip trickled over to this one, but actually happened in like real life.
Right. It sounds like it.
So, would you ever do another TrovaTrip?
No. No.
Was that your last of trips?
No. Yes.
Last of trips or last with TrovaTrip?
Everything.
Could we do another trip with our Mexico crew?
Yes. Same people. So sorry. I'm so sorry. If anyone wanted to do a women's retreat with us, I would literally need to meet you on Zoom before you come.
We'd have to do a full
and do a background check. Because really real. I'm never doing that again.
And we need to talk to
This is how I feel about TrovaTrip, okay? Fuck you, TrovaTrip. That's how literally when I got back, you take a survey and I gave them 0 stars on everything.
Have they talked? Was there any communication post afterwards? Trip?
They fucking suck. I sent them so many emails and they were like, oh, talk to the next person. And I said, you know what? Fuck you guys.
Right. I'm not talking to the next person. I'm talking to you. That's messed up. I hate that for you.
You guys couldn't pay me to go on another TrovaTrip.
I don't think you pay us either. I'm just kidding.
But you couldn't pay me to do another trip with strangers.
Yeah. No, I would literally
have to meet everybody on Zoom and vet them and do a background check.
So traumatizing, just with all the different personalities to everyone trying to gain it. Like it sounds like everyone was gaining up on you.
Yeah.
And like you said, like not treating you as
it was to the point where Zach wanted to like sit everybody down and say, what the fuck?
He should have.
But I was just like, let's just get through it.
Did anyone have any group experience prior to the trip? Like were these things that were talked about once you guys were there?
What do you mean?
Like just how we found out Lily had been on other group trips.
Yeah, there was like one girl who had done like a group trip before. She was cool. She kind of went with the flow and stuff. But I just think if you get like a few people that have like this energy, it just brings the whole
it changes everything.
No, one person can or a couple of people can make it a whole different experience.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was my trip experience. I'm really sorry I have to run, but I have to go film this scene really fast. Nobody hate me, but love you guys.
I think Cheyenne's story just stressed me out a little bit. Me too. Cheyenne also had to hookah the entire episode, which was a lot to take in because that had her
messed up.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's podcast episode. Do you have a WTF you'd like to share?
Obviously, Cheyenne's WTF was her whole trip. Kyle, do you have a WTF or advice you would like to share with us today?
No, but I'll tell you what's going on this weekend. It's my kid's birthday. Boss is gonna be 6, and I'm super excited. So it's like I'm happy, but also like WTF because his dad is coming in from Friday and leaving on Monday, and
quick trip.
Always a quick trip, but it just always throws the kids into like an emotional tizzy. And lately we've been working with our behavioral therapist, and it's really, really been beneficial for Boz and I within the house. But like, she's been able to see things now, like just because it's been a couple months. So this time we're actually doing something different. So just pray that Boz and I have a better experience once he leaves, and that Boz is able to use some of his tools and
I love that,
navigate this situation a little bit better. So
both of you.
Yeah, me too. It takes a lot out of me, like and it's Zaire has been showing more things now. So just pray for the boys and pray for me. Need all the strength.
Always.
And just pray for my little baby's emotional well-being. Like I'm so proud of both of them, but it's also like you don't want to see your kids having to have like adult conversations at like 3 and almost 6.
Yeah.
It's just really hard, but I'm just really proud that able to instill like emotional intelligence into these little future men of the world. So I'm like,
you're doing great.
Yeah. So just know like there is light at the end of the tunnel. Even when you're still going through it, like
you can see it.
You're always moving forward, and we're always moving forward. Is it easy? Hell no. Do I lose sleep over it every day? Do I wish it was different? I would pay for the difference, but just seeing the growth that me and my little unit are having is really what matters.
I'm proud of you.
Really what matters.
You're taking the steps.
Man, taking the steps. And it's not easy, but
I'm excited for his birthday.
Happy. I'm excited for Boz's birthday too.
It's so awesome. Yeah, so crazy how fast they're growing.
He's going to be 6, which is so crazy.
He's so smart, so handsome.
When I asked him what he wanted to do for his birthday, he said he wants to have a cousin sleepover, and he named his brother, and he named Ace, Ryder, and Parker. And I was like, okay, cool, we can do that. And he said, yeah, but like in Japan or maybe Paris. And I was like, well, boss, those places are really far. And he was like, well, Hawaii will do. And I was like,
our kids.
Okay.
I love that for him.
So just pray that Shanan makes it happen and that she comes for our winter trip.
We're praying. We're praying for a sugar daddy.
I was gonna steal your credit card or call your dad and be like, hey, I need you to see me on this.
I need you to get her some flights.
Can you help us? But yeah,
I love that.
That's all I got for y'all. Yes, that's me today.
That's me today.
That's me today. What you got, Shanan?
I know I have a lot for my advice. And I'm going through it as well. For anyone who has lost anybody in this season, this past year, even before, I'm learning how to still manage my journey of grieving, and I'm learning it on my mom and my parents. And so we just got done with Thanksgiving and spent it with my second family, which is Kyle and Cheyenne and everybody. And it was so beautiful because we were able to have my whole family come.
4 generations.
4 generations at the house. And it was so beautiful because it was just awesome. It was the first time my parents really were able to like come and like relax and be happy. And it was my first time seeing my parents actually smile and like have laughter and be around people that loves them so much.
Shannon's mom was great that night. She was honestly, if we could have given awards out, she would have been my favorite person of the day.
Kyle was so happy.
But
it was just, you know what, you guys, like having family in it. If you know somebody who's lost somebody and know that they're going through something during this holiday, reach out, because you never know the impact they're going to have. Because my parents, even the next day, they were so happy. We were going to be at home with just our immediate family and just be really quiet. And I don't think it would have been the experience they had coming here. And they were like, we had such a good time. Like, we were so happy. Like, why have you been hiding us from everybody? And I'm like, what? Hiding you? But it was just, make sure you reach out to those that are going through grieving in any type of form. And I really encourage you guys to check on your people, because holidays can be really hard.
They can be.
So that's my advice, my little tidbit. But
keep going. There's light through the tunnel, and connect. And
yes,
just
connect. Yes,
I think that's a great way to end, because Cheyenne has a that was a little heavy.
Go connect on our girl. Go tell her you love her.
That was a little heavy. But as always, thank you for tuning into the Think Loud Crew podcast.
Yes.
You can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on YouTube, and find us on Instagram at Think Loud Crew. You can find Cheyenne on Instagram. Yeah, Shy Not Shy, and on Snapchat, I think it's K Cheyenne. Yeah. And then you can find me on Instagram and mostly Snapchat. I'm going to stop saying Instagram because I'm a Snapchatter. At Kyle Lynn. Where can we find you, Shanan?
You can find me on Instagram at Hair by Shanan C. And I'm not going to keep promising Snapchat, but eventually, you guys, I'll get there.
Yes. If anyone's feeling generous this holiday season, we would really love for Shanan to have her tickets sponsored because she is a very hardworking mom. And she deserves some extra love in the treatment.
To go to Paris with my son.
Yes, for New Year's Eve.
That is Kyle's wish.
Man, what is that? First world problems?
Yes.
Like, sorry, y'all. But yeah, just
go sponsor me. That's what Kyle's is trying to say. Anyways, don't forget to tell your crew about